We'll get going here in a minute. I got to get my podcast voice ready. Yeah. Haven't done one of these.
Sing at a high pitch.
I know. I haven't done one in a while, so I got to get my voice warmed up. I know. Let's get this party rolling. So here we are back in the juice box. Another episode of the Baseball Development Show athletic podcast. We haven't been on in a while. We've been busy with a lot of stuff going on this summer. Summer ball, guys playing, Velocity Max, strength training, all the programs rolling. So we're back with Matt Pearch, one of our 2025 arms. Got some new news for him. He's committed to Yale. So he's still got his senior year to play. So we're just prepping for all of that stuff. He's about to start football, quarterback at Dunwoody High School. Going to get him ready for football season, and then right after football is done, we got to get him ready to pitch for his senior year, and then who knows what's going to happen from there. So we're going to talk through some of this stuff, let you guys know where he's at, let you know some of his recent things that he's had going on. But Matt, tell everybody how your summer went as a junior going into senior year, pitching, playing the field, doing all your things. Where are you at? Do you feel good about what you've accomplished? Are you ready for the next level?
Well, I thought my summer was it wasn't like ideally what I wanted, but I made some strides, like topping 93. Like ideally I did want to hit 95, but I mean that's just kind of just I got to put in more work, stuff like that. And I mean fielding, I think I did pretty well. Hitting was also not ideal, but I mean I feel like we played some better competition this summer than we usually would have. Like obviously we had our games where we played teams that really we shouldn't even really be playing, I feel like. But like we had our fair share of solid teams. I feel like most of those games I competed well, and even though like some of them I really didn't have my stuff, I still competed pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, I saw you do your thing against a couple squads that had players put together from the area, outside the area, guys that are going to also play in college, right? So I think the thing for high school guys is you guys play summer ball, right? And everybody wants to be on the best team and be the man. But what you don't realize is you guys are preparing for the next level. And when you get to the next level, there's a bunch of guys just like you trying to get the job done and execute. So I think, like you said, competing, right? Just taking your skill set, putting it in game, and being able to compete and see where you wind up. Like that's a maturation process for getting ready for the next level. I mean, you're not just going to run through guys like maybe you sometimes do at the high school ranks, right? You're a guy throwing low 90s right now. You're touching 93, 94. Your stuff is better than most high school hitters. But when you stack yourself up against guys that are going to be also playing at the next level, now you're actually forced to say, okay, I need to execute right here. I need to pitch. I need to be a guy. And I'm bringing up pitching because Matt's going to pitch at the next level. He's set up at Yale to be a pitcher. He also plays third base and hits for Dunwoody. We like our guys to be as athletic as possible and continue to play positions. But when you get to a level like where Matt is at, it's important to say, okay, like I really need to sharpen my skill set for what I'm going to be doing at the next level. So you feel good about that, like the things you've been working on and where you're at in your game. Obviously, you said it's not perfect, but you feel good about your progression?
Yeah, definitely. Especially like physically, I think like where I almost want to be. Like I'm not totally there, but I'm getting close. And I think my thing was this summer is like just kind of meant my mentality was off. Like I think what I tended to forget during the summer is that like hitting's hard for everyone. Like the best hitters are what 300, 350 in the major leagues. I mean, it's probably relatively similar in youth ball. So I mean, like even though I'm facing whatever 1, 2, 3 number team in the country or whatever, like I'm gonna beat them almost every single time. And I like in those big games, I think I just got like too fancy with it. Instead of like I was trusting my stuff, but I wasn't just going after them like I really like should be. Like I should be starting them off with a fastball first strike and say try and hit it instead of trying to go, oh, I'm gonna try to throw this slider or whatever low and away and maybe I'll get a nice swing and miss instead of just, you know, if they make contact, it's whatever.
Yeah.
because most of the time it's an out. And I think that's just kind of where I really like lost that mindset like a little ways through the summer.
Yeah. And, we got to remember too, nobody strikes out on an 0 count.
Yeah.
And that's something that me and you had conversations about throughout the summer. If you're pitching against the Joe Schmo team versus you're pitching against some of the nation's top baseball players here in Georgia, um, the way you pitch does need to change a little bit. I mean, your process and how you go about it does not, but the way you attack hitters may change, right? And I think for you, what you realize is, okay, you have a high ride fastball, you have a high spin fastball. You can work that in the middle of the plate and still get away with stuff. We talked about that during that last outing that you had. And, I saw something, Greg, we were talking about this too. Like I saw something on YouTube or Instagram where it was like Mike Trout talking about hitting and talking about the analytics of how many pitches in the middle of the plate big league hitters get. And it's like, I think 19 or 20% of all pitches wind up in the middle. And I think the fastball rate was actually higher than the off speed rate, right? Naturally, because off speed pitches move away from the middle. So, and this is something that Greg has talked to you guys about in Velocity Max. Like, if you guys have good stuff and you started in the middle, it's going to work away from the middle, and that was something that we talked about kind of later on in the summer is like, dude, if you want to get quick outs, if you want to be efficient, you can throw balls in the middle of the plate until guys prove that they're going to hit them. And I think guys get afraid of that because they're like, oh, well, what about the 2-0 slider that got hit in the trees? What about the 2-0 fastball that the guy hit for a double? The foundational issue with that is that you're behind in the count, right? When pitchers fall behind, hitters have they have the upper hand. They're going to be able to cheat. They're going to be able to say, okay, I'm going to sit on one pitch, one speed. When you get a hitter and you go right after him first pitch, he's already back on his heels. It's like, God dang, man, this guy's not messing around. He's coming right at me. And then you do it again, and he's 0-2. It's like, okay, shit, time to buckle up now. And sometimes for them, it's too late. So I think that's mature in your assessment of you pitching, man, and trying to, starting to understand that. Like going forward, right? We've been trying to like work on this arsenal, and we'll get into all the developmental stuff and talk about the things you've been doing developmentally and in the gym and in Velocity Max and all those things. But you've been working on a pitch arsenal for the past year and a half, trying to figure out, okay, what are you going to use as a change-up type pitch to lefties? What are you going to use that pairs up well with your fastball? We got 2 breaking balls that we're working on. Like, what did you find for yourself? Give the viewers like some juicy stuff on some of the adjustments you're having to make in tailoring your pitch arsenal to match your stuff.
Well, my like kind of first mentality of like when I wanted to like get that new pitch would end up being the splitter was I wanted to be able to throw it for a strike and just kind of have consistent movement. Because if I want it to go arm side and down, and it doesn't go like that every time, that's going to completely mess up where I'm aiming every time. And so my thing was when I was developing it, like I wanted to make sure I could get it consistent and like y'all can see I have big hands, long fingers, so like it was something that I'm able to throw. And like I tinkered with the grip and stuff, like around the seams, whatever, like going whether I want to go across the seams, with the seams, on top of the seams. Like I had to go through that and figure out like what's going to be the most consistent, or what's going to get me the most consistent movement on it. Because like I may have one that's going to drop like this much, come back this much, but is it going to do that every time?
Yeah.
So that just kind of was my thing, and I had to go through that kind of all this summer. Like I was tinkering with my grips, kind of, I wouldn't say game to game, but maybe like every 2 weeks, just trying something out, just trying different stuff, different feels to see if I can get that same consistent movement. And it doesn't have to be an insane amount of drop or a same amount of arm side run for it to be good and play off my fastball enough.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. You're talking about the splitter right now. I think early on you told us you were going to start throwing that pitch, and we were kind of just like, we'll see. Like we'll see what happens because everybody wants to throw those type of pitches, right? You get young kids talking about knuckleballs. As kids get older, it tends to be splitters and cutters and things like this that are really specialty pitches, right? When you look at the highest levels of baseball, those are just things that kind of adapt from what guys have naturally. You get guys that say, oh, I throw a cutter. Well, a cutter that doesn't cut is a fastball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a fastball that cuts is a mistake more often than not. So, and Greg might want to get on later and talk differently about this, but for me, like a splitter, a cutter, I had somebody come up to me and say they throw a screwball the other day. Like these are specialty pitches that kind of are variations of other pitches that are much more prevalent, like the slider, right? Most people's cutter are sliders. Most people, when they talk about a screwball, it's a variation of a changeup. For you, is the splitter a variation of what you didn't have with a changeup? Is that how that came to be?
Well, I think, I had never been like had a consistent like change up. Like during high school ball, my pitching coach taught me one, but like I was always dropping my arm slot, trying to do too much with it. And I think when I switched to the splitter and like decided to really make that switch, like I kind of realized that like, or my thought process was like, this looks the exact same
Mm-hmm.
as my fastball when it's come out of my hand. Like I'm not dropping my arm or trying to go way across it, trying to do too much with it. Like I'm just throwing it, and I think that's the same with my slider and curveball too. And that's why kind of throw what I throw is because I don't have to try to do too. Oh, sorry, I don't have to try to do too much with it to like let it have good deception for my fastball.
Yeah. I think that's important too, man. Like you have a good rhythm down the mound. Like when you throw your fastball, everything's on time. That's part of why you spin the ball so well. So getting away from that with any of your other pitches is going to be an issue. Like a hitter, a good hitter is going to pick up on that. He's going to see, oh, there's something different when he throws that pitch. So you're going to tip your pitches in a certain way. Is it a pitch that you throw to lefties, the splitter? Is it
Yeah,
more of a pitch you can throw to both?
well, like in my head, like I always thought like kind of change ups away to lefties, but I mean, like throughout the summer, I kind of was realizing that like my splitter doesn't have to just be to lefties.
Mm-hmm.
Like as long as I aim it enough where I know it's not gonna fly out of my hand and hit the dude in the head, like it really can go to either side. And I think I'm kind of starting to realize that with all my pitches, because like in the past too with my curveball, I always thought like kind of curveball the lefties, because if it pops out of my hand too much, it's just gonna hit a righty in the back. And kind of especially through high school when I really got it down, like I realized that like I can throw it to whoever. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if he's a lefty, righty, just throw it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree, man. That's good. I mean, we had a conversation on the mounds one day, me, you, and Greg talking about pairing your pitches together, right? And how you're going to use them and what you're going to do with them and what your intent is with each of those pitches and where you locate them and all those things. Like, is that something that you've been working on as of late and trying to kind of hone in? I mean, obviously, up till now, it was okay. I want to get bigger. I want to get stronger. I want to throw harder. I want my stuff to be better. Now that you've kind of reached that level of like, okay, I feel pretty good about my stuff, and we're just going to let that keep inching forward. Are you working on some of the more intricate pitch details?
I mean, definitely. Like we had that talk probably midway through the summer, probably, and I noticed myself like thinking really more. Okay, that fastball is up and in. What's gonna play off that the best? That was a strike low and away. He's probably if I throw that again or throw something that looks like it, like a splitter, he's probably gonna try to swing at it because it was a strike last time. It's gonna end up bouncing off the plate for strike three.
Yeah.
So I think just me like having that much more in-depth mentality just kind of is going to bring me to an even higher level than what I'm at.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's good, man. And this question right here is going to be interesting, but I think people need to hear it. I think baseball players your age, this for whatever reason is a thing. How did some of this change during the school year pitching and then during summer ball pitching? Did you feel any difference, whether it was pressure, whether it was the guys you're around, the coaching, whatever it is? Did you feel any different?
Well, for me, like I think it was honestly just the competition. Like when the competition we faced in high school, like we faced good kids, but like you're not gonna face a top to bottom great lineup rarely ever in high school unless you're facing a insane team. Like, but in summer ball, like we really did face some of those really good teams where it's D1, 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 D1. And like it's still like I said earlier, it's not gonna completely change like my mentality, but it is gonna um like make me think more, make me have to like really like hone in on what I need to do to get this guy out. And like during high school, I think I really just kind of lost like that pitcher's mentality that I need to have, where it's like I need to be like super locked in mentally to be able to get these guys out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like for us, we always talk about coaching guys, right? And we have to coach you guys based on what we know you need to get better at. Whether you're down here as a player or up here as a player, whether you're at the top or whether you're at the bottom. And I think when you guys pitch, it's the same thing. They're hitting against you. They're hitting against your skill set, your fastball, your slider, your curveball, your split, your nasty stuff. So if you change the way you go at it because you think they're not as good, that competitive edge goes down, right? And
Yeah.
and that's why I asked the question, because I know a lot of people struggle with this. Oh man, I crushed it in high school, and then I struggled in summer ball, travel ball, whatever it is. Like some of our college guys, it's the same thing. They come off their senior year, have a great year, and then they go play in the Sun Belt and they struggle. And it's like, talent wise, yeah, there's college baseball players, there's the experience, but it's not so much that gets guys. I think it's like when you let go too much. And this is what I always worry about with summer ball in general. Is summer ball is a little bit more relaxed. Coaches are in shorts. POs come in shorts sometimes. POs don't show up if they're not pitching that day. In high school ball, everybody shows up. Everybody goes to the game. You're at your game even if you're not playing that day. So like the relaxed nature, I can understand how it would be tough for you guys to still bring that like total competitive edge, but you're saying that sometimes high school was actually harder for you because you realize who you're competing against.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like how do we navigate that going forward? Like being some people that feel like we can be in your corner to help you going forward. You're getting ready to pitch at Yale. Matt has had a couple affiliated teams that have had interest and gone to watch him pitch. We don't have to say who those teams are, and I don't know how many they are. You would probably know more than I would, Matt. But to get to that level, college baseball, pro baseball down the road, hopefully, like what are some of the things that you really need to lock in and get better at? Obviously, you talked about your size and your development, the pitch arsenal, but just some other things about your game, like what people are evaluating on the mound in game. What are some of those things?
Well, I think a couple things I do really well is I really think I do keep my composure well. Like whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. Like I'd always been taught, like when you give up a home run or when you strike out a guy to win the game, it should look the exact same.
Yeah.
And I kind of always keep that mentality through my games, and I think that's really kind of benefited me. Like, cause like obviously when I'm pitching, I get like jacked up, like I get
Yep.
excited, like I'm like always ready to go. Like when I'm throwing versus when I'm coming to play position, like it's just there's just something different about me. Like I'm feel like electrified when I'm like coming up, whether it's I'm going to the game when I'm there, like I'm just ready to go. And I think like that, I guess you could say composure.
Yeah.
That I have like good or bad, just came same look. I guess is I think that's one of the things that really benefits me. I ideally keep that, and that's just again a focus thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, just stuff I need to work on. Honestly, I just think is controlling my pitches. Like a lot of the time it happened a bunch of summer. I was really trying to overthrow,
Yeah.
and kind of similar to what I said earlier. Like there's really no need to. Like batters will get themselves out. They get out most of the time. So I think just knowing that I can take a little bit off, and if I really hit my spot, that's really all I need to do to be successful.
Yeah. Do you find, and I'm probably guilty of this too, guys, like I've had conversations with Matt. I've talked to other people about Matt. I coached Matt this summer. I've coached him before. We obviously see him in the facility a bunch. But, do you feel any pressure sometimes in the way of, okay, I know I've got to be more efficient, right? I know sometimes I overthrow, I get behind in counts, my pitch count drives up, and everybody's on me about being more efficient. Like, does that put pressure on you? Like, damn, I really need to get this guy to swing at the first pitch.
Honestly, like when I don't really have kind of that mentality when it's like, oh, I need this guy to swing right here. But like, I will, or the situation will definitely dictate like what I'm thinking. Like, there are a couple of times where it's like, all right, there's a runner on first. Let's get a ground ball right here, and I'll throw my ground ball pitch. And this summer it was like my splitter, especially when I first introduced it. Like, I think I got the first couple of times I threw it, like those three at bats were I believe were three ground outs. So kind of that was my thing. Like, let's throw the ground ball pitch right here. Let's throw it for a strike and let's get a ground ball. And I mean, sometimes it worked out. They'd ground right into a double play. Sometimes they would just take it. Sometimes it was a ball. And I mean, yeah, so I guess the situation like just kind of dictated like my ideas, especially at Lake Point, they got the pitch counter up there. Like you're checking there every inning, and I remember my last outing, like it was like 40 pitches in the first inning. I'm like something has to change,
Yeah.
and like I ended up going the rest of the outing. The game ended up going up or ending early, but like I ended up having three and a half like super efficient innings because I knew like let's start getting weak contact. Let's start just pounding it and see what they can do.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that game here in a minute. Like I feel like, and I always feel this for you guys, because pitchers that have a talent level that may be slightly above the high school level, and they're trying to play a bunch of high school baseball players. I always talk about how when you guys throw your stuff, hitters miss it, foul it off, swing and miss, don't swing at all because they feel like they can't hit it. Can that be frustrating at times when you realize, damn, like that was my ground ball pitch right there, and the dude didn't swing or he hit a foul ball? Like, dude, put the thing in play. Is that frustrating?
I mean, yeah, and I feel like I don't want this to sound cocky at all, but I feel like a lot of the time like that's why I get so high in pitches because a lot of kids like just cannot hit it. Like they really struggle to hit it, and I mean that's definitely difficult like for me because like when I get a guy 0-2, like I'll there's a lot of the time where it ends up getting to a 2-2, 3-2 count. Just because I'm trying to get him to swing, I'm not trying to leave anything over the middle. But I really just got to keep that mindset of like, if he can't hit it the first two times, what makes him be able to hit it the third?
Sure. Yeah, and I think that's important, man. Like, I think, if you're going at somebody, and we could talk about this all day, but if you go at somebody 0-0 and it's something in the middle, whether it's get me over, whether it's fastball, and then you got somebody 0-1 and it's same thing, hey, I'm trying to get the plate, I want them to swing. It's 0-2. What makes you think on an 0-2 count that they're all of a sudden miraculously going to be able to hit you? I mean, yeah, you don't want to give them something in their bat speed and something easy, and that's why we'll try to help you guys out with pitch calling and stuff. I know that can be a frustrating thing too when you're trying to get on the same page as catchers, and sometimes catchers can't read the swings and this and that. But I just think that, guys like you with good stuff, you got to go at hitters, and that's my devil's advocate all the time to guys who are like, well, my pitch counts are high because, hitters don't put it in play. It's like, okay, cool. Just can't make it 2 or 3 balls, and that's the biggest, that's from little league all the way on up to pro ball. It's the same thing, man. The best guys, they don't really waste a whole lot. And that's going to be something that you're going to need to continually work on, man, because as you climb and as you get better, as your stuff continues to get better, it's still going to be really good stuff at the college level. If it turns out to be pro ball, it's still going to be good stuff at the pro level, right? I don't think that's going to go away. I mean, your stuff is good for your skill set right now. So navigating that can be hard, but going back to the game you're referring to, I think it was East Cobb Astros.
Yeah.
It was a rainy day. It was like a shortened game time situation. Mm-hmm. What was the score? 3-0. I think we lost. We lost the game, yeah. Right? And there's some good ball players on that team. There notoriously always has been. I'm sure most of you people listening know East Cobb Astros. You know that name. You talk about how when you pitch against some of these teams and notorious players, it kind of amps you up. Like it gets you in that competitive mode to just go attack. And you said you had a 40-pitch first inning. What changed? What was different after that?
Like honestly, it was just like after that inning, I looked up at the scoreboard. I'm like, I can't do that again. Like I just know I need to keep just throw strikes and just see what happens because that inning I had only given up 1 hit, and I think it was 2 runs. Just like I'd walked a couple guys, and I think I completely remember this. I had my first 2 pitches of the game were 92. I didn't hit 92 again. Those first 2 pitches were 92. I know I threw my hardest that first inning, and sure, maybe some of it was fatigue, but I mean, like, I wanted to throw as hard as I could that first inning, and that's what changed. Like, I was like, I don't need to throw as hard as I can. I'm just going to take a little bit off, and I was still 90, and I was just getting guys out because I was throwing strikes, and especially, I think someone told me this during high school. Like when you throw ball one, ball two with the fastball, they now know what it looks like. And when I was hitting during the season, that kind of like I guess that helped the mindset too, because like when a guy throws first pitch strike, like I haven't seen him yet. Like I don't know if I'm totally gonna swing because I don't even know what it looks like yet.
Right.
Like obviously people are gonna tell you, yeah, he has a little run, but I mean you don't really know what it's gonna look like until you're in the box right there. So I guess being a hitter too, and like knowing a hitter's mentality, like that's so true that like if they see it 2 times before you throw a strike for them, like it's gonna be easier for them to hit it.
Yeah. No, I mean that 100%, man, and that's part of what puts guys on their heels into defensive mode a little bit is just having that uncertainty. Everything's in the game, everything's about certainty and uncertainty. And the certain players, they're confident. The uncertain players are not. It's like, I don't really know. I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, it could be good, it could be bad, who knows. So, I think you probably deal with it. I know all pitchers deal with this where you get into a big game. You got to pitch against a good opponent, whatever it is, and you're amped up and you're juiced up and you're throwing hard and you fall behind and you get through that first inning and then you'll see it all the time. Guys will settle in because it's like, okay, let me shake off all the crap that was just like cluttering my brain, the excitement, the score, the team, the commitments, who's playing for who, all this stuff. And then you realize, well, that was stupid because now I just did something that didn't even match me and now I got to go back to me. So watching you kind of settle in and just throw pour fastballs over the white of the plate, pour your get me over sliders to get back to the way you really like to pitch, and then just watching it 9-pitch inning, 10-pitch inning. Like how does that feel when you get that back? How does that make you feel? Obviously, you're already pissed you gave up 2 runs. You're already pissed you had a 40-pitch first inning. But then you get into the second and third, do you start to feel like, okay, like this is mine again. I got this.
Well, honestly, for me, I think I just stay mad the whole game. And it's like I think like keeping that mentality of like, I'm not doing that again. Like I'm just not doing it again. I'm not letting it happen. Is just like that just kind of helps fix me, I guess. And it just like really locks me into just pound it, just pound the zone. And I say the exact same thing when I'm at third and telling the pitcher, I'm like, hey, just pound the zone. That's it, because hitters will get themselves out.
Yeah, no, it's true, man. It's super true. That's the way it is, and it's the way it's always gonna be. Like it's not like batting averages across the nation are gonna go from 2 something to all of a sudden 4 something. Like that's not ever gonna happen. Hitting a ball is a hard thing to do. Pitchers have the upper hand, and they got to remember that. I'm sitting here listening to you, watching you talk, and we did a show about a year ago, right? I think it was right after you did the participating in the PBR Future Games.
Yep.
You were not committed at the time. You had some interest from several schools. We were trying to figure things out, and we were talking about some of the same things, right? You had been throwing the football a lot. You went up there and participated in the Future Games. You kind of struggled to find the zone the first inning and then settled in. So we're talking about some of the same things, but I'm looking at you now and you look different. You're bigger, you're stronger. You've had a full year of development. I think maybe last summer at that time you were weighing what, maybe 185, 190.
I was probably
not
like
even
170.
Okay, so and now you're what? You're over 200 pounds.
Like 200, 195.
Okay, 195, 200. You're probably another inch taller. You've been working in here a lot, right? You spent the winter with us after football season was done. We had a good winter. I think, it prepared you for what you needed to do in high school ball. You had a real great spring. Me and Greg came out and watched you pitch a couple times. And then, after the high school season was over, we kind of hit the weights. We hit the turf again, working on the mound stuff. Where do you feel, going into this football season? Do you feel like you're in a good spot and you're ready to put down the baseball for a little bit and then pick it up in the winter? Like, how do you feel about all that?
Like at the end of baseball season, like I just know, like, man, I don't want to stop playing baseball. Like, I don't want to go to football. I don't want to have to go throw at workouts or whatever. while we're playing, and like at the end of football season, I'll just be dreading starting baseball. But I mean, as we start getting into it, I'm like, all right, I'm ready for football season. Like baseball is going to be there after football season, and I'm excited for that. But I'm in football now, so let's get it.
Yeah. No, and that's good, man. People who play multiple sports, it's got to be sport of the season. If you're going to actually excel at your sport, it's got to be the sport of the season and what's going on at that time, and that's where your focus has been. And I think we've kind of figured out a good cadence with that, right? Like, hey, okay, August we put the baseball down, we let you focus on football, and then once November rolls around, we're hitting the gym hard again. We're working on the pitching stuff again. We're getting your arm back in shape. That's the biggest thing, right? Going from football to baseball, throwing the football and the baseball, guys. It's very similar in a sequencing standpoint, but the intricacies are much different, and I think that's probably the biggest thing. Um, like what is since you've committed, you're committed to Yale now. You made that commitment. When was that? Around
I think that
Christmas
was
time?
January.
January. Okay. So where are you at now? Have you had many discussions with the coaches? Are they following up with you? Are they coming to watch you at all? What does some of that look like just in your preparation?
Yeah, I mean, they're always asking for updates. I mean, they're on my Twitter and stuff. They're on my social media, so they know. Like when I'm reposting stuff, they know what's going on. So I mean, they're in contact with me. I'd say at least once a week.
Yeah.
Just really keeping up. And some of the time we're not even talking about baseball. So I mean, yeah, it's really cool to have that kind of connection before I even get there. Because I mean, I think the other day we were just like talk about how good I'm going to be or how good our team's going to be this football season.
Mhm.
And I mean, I guess I wouldn't say I wasn't expecting it, but I mean, just to really like see it be there, it's just cool.
Yeah. Have you met? Do you know any of the other guys in your class that are going there?
No, not yet. I mean, because we're all from different states. Yale
Yeah.
only takes seven, I think 7 recruits, or I know 7 recruits are committed right now, and I think every single one of us is from a different state. So I mean, like we haven't really connected yet. Like I know a couple of them have followed like me on Instagram, and I follow them back. But I think we take our official visit in November for the Yale Princeton game. I think once we get that, like we'll all start to be really connected. Like,
Yeah.
and so yeah, we'll see.
No, that's good, man. That's good. Um, I don't follow Yale baseball too much. I don't know how their teams have been. I know that they're going to get a good one when they get you up there. And I'm hoping you get a chance to go up there and show your best stuff and compete right away. On the professional baseball talk, is that something that you want right now? I know you've got a little bit of attention. Some guys have talked to you. Is that something that you're even considering? Do you want to just go to school right now? Obviously, Yale, man, you can't do much better in terms of academics. What are your ultimate goals down the road?
Well, I think obviously the ultimate goal is to make it to the major leagues, but I mean it really just depends. Like if I progress a ton and I get in the whatever top 10 rounds or something of the draft, like it will definitely be in a discussion. But if I super late, like it'll still be discussion. But I mean, like, why would I ever miss out on one of the best degrees you can get?
Yeah.
So I mean, like it's been a discussion, but I mean, I wouldn't say I'm not serious about it, but like there were a couple showcases for I think it was East Coast Pro
Mm-hmm.
case, something like that. And it's like one of the bigger showcases. It's run by MLB teams, and we had football. And I think if I was like dead set on I want to go to the MLB out of high school, like I would have skipped whatever we had for football. I know it was something big, but I would have skipped that and went 100%.
Yeah.
So I think like it's a goal, and I would love to go in the draft, but I mean, like it's been a discussion with my parents too. Like it just really depends, because like you just don't miss out on the opportunity to get a degree from Yale.
Yeah, 100%, man. I think you're spot on with that. Had to ask the question because I know you're going to get the question from somebody else too, and especially if you're talking to scouts, you're talking to cross checkers they're going to ask you the question, right? Like obviously it's a little bit different than if somebody's committed to a school with maybe not the same academic
Yeah.
standing. So no, that's good, Matt. I mean, I'm excited to watch you guys. I mean, obviously, we got several Dunwoody High School ball players that come in here and train. I'm excited to keep working with you, man. Um, I think we have a bright future ahead. I know that you know this already, but there's still so much potential that we haven't even tapped into yet. And I know that you're aware of that. That's part of the maturity that you have. And guys, don't get me wrong, he's accomplished a lot already. He's a hard thrower. He's a competitive pitcher. I would not want to be in the box facing him, although I would if I had to. So, no, I'm really excited about your journey, man. I just wanted to get you on here and kind of let everybody know about the Yale commitment and some of the things that you've got going on, some of the pro attention. So stay tuned, guys. We're going to be posting a whole lot more about Matt, giving you guys some more information and updates about all of our commits. Is there anything you want to say to the audience, man? Just things to kind of rile them up for football season up ahead?
I mean, nothing really. Just be on the lookout for Dunwoody, I guess.
There you go, man. There you go. So we'll have to come out and watch you play. Have to send us our schedule, and you guys don't play any home games at the Dunwoody High School,
we don't even play it. We don't even play it around the field. So
we'll have to get the schedule, see where you guys are playing, man, and see if we can get out to watch you scramble around and throw the football a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, another episode from the Juice Box Guys Baseball Development Show. Our great guest, Matt Pearch. You guys stay tuned for more. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys next time. Matty?
I appreciate you.